Boom, we are now live. Welcome everybody to our blab. You are hanging out with the one, the only Mr. Talented, Mr. Salas, Frank Salas, outsourcing expert, social media expert here in the Philippines. And I've got a lovely, lovely guest, a Filipina herself, a doll's mastermind. Her name is Diane. She is fabulous, blowing kisses to the world. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Thank you so much, Frank, for this introduction. I really appreciate being here. Guys, my boy, Mr. Talented Mr. Salas is just incredible. So my name is Diana May Fernandez, and you guys can call me D, and I run a company called A Doll's Mastermind. And essentially what that is I help empower emerging female entrepreneurs with their startup companies. In addition to that, I do that on one-on-one coaching, plus hosting weekly and monthly exclusive invite-only mastermind groups to just really make a powerful impact and just have that accountability. And I know I see a couple of my dolls in my mastermind that are here right now. So hello, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, is that Leader Confident? Is that one of the people in your masterminds?
Leader Confident, yes. My girl,
Nice.
Tamika, she is part of one of my masterminds for one of the accountability programs that I run, and I love it. I know that there's a few more women that are going to be trickling in shortly. Hello.
Perfect. Yeah. So now that you brought that up, personally, I'm involved in several hundred masterminds. I've been in business for myself since I was 20 years old. And I just know a lot of people in different industries. And for me, a mastermind means learning. It means going to people that know more than you, or maybe have a different perspective than you, more experience, whatever that may be, and getting value from what they do already, and then make that a part of your own reality and just execute on that end. But, I don't necessarily have a dedicated mastermind, and I definitely see the value of that. Unfortunately, I'm not the right gender to be in a doll's mastermind. Otherwise, I'd be there with you. Because it's like the girls' club over there. What's the deal?
It's the exclusive. You know what it is, Frank? I'm going to tell you. And I know that you and I had this conversation earlier this week. You're like, hey, D, do you only coach and do you only mastermind with women? Like, what about the men? And it's true. I mean, I have a lot of both sexes reaching out to me and saying, what is it that I can do better? How can I move forward and excel and accelerate my business? And I absolutely love that. But I'll tell you the reason why I gravitate towards women. And I want to use Shark Tank as an example. I know that a lot of people are familiar with the show Shark Tank. And when you're just looking at a boardroom, right? When you're looking at a boardroom, it's normally filled with men. And 20% of the time, you only see one woman. And why is that? Why are women just so hesitant to really step forward and just lean in? Like, we have every single right to be there as much as men. And, and it's really, really important for that message to be conveyed in such a confident way, where women really do feel empowered and inspired. So let me take it a step back and preface this. Frank. Okay, so mastermind really, masterminds are it's like a relatively new concept for people. So Napoleon Hill, if you guys haven't heard of him, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. So essentially, a mastermind group is designed to help navigate, through the challenges, using the intelligence of others, of others like-minded individuals. So, if you've never heard of what a mastermind is, that's essentially what it is. It's like this peer-to-peer mentoring. And if you're lucky enough to get invited to one, because typically masterminds are exclusive. So, to get into my mastermind, you have to go through a whole qualifying screening process. I don't just let anyone in my mastermind because I don't want anyone fucking up my vibe. That's the reality of it. So,
Nice.
You'll most likely see a marked change in yourself, in your relationships, and in your business. So that's essentially, in a way, what a mastermind is.
That's fabulous. So, I want to go backtrack a little bit. You said something that really resonated with me. I've been in a lot of boardrooms, and you're right. It's mostly men. It's mostly gentlemen in there. And every time there's always that one woman. And not everyone's going to say this about this woman, but the perception of that very powerful woman is that instead of her being powerful and strong and confident, it's that she's bitchy, she's bossy, She's
Yep.
hard to do business with. And if a guy's like that, he's relentless. He's ruthless. He's a dominating business guy. And there's such a double standard there. I was raised by a single mom, so I got nothing but love for females.
Oh, God bless
and
her.
you know, and I learned to communicate from a female, which really has helped me out in the business world. And you know, can you touch on that? Why is a powerful woman bitchy? Why is a powerful woman bossy? Why can't she just be powerful? What's break that world down for us?
I absolutely love that. First, before I jump into it, because I love that you touched on such a sensitive topic that a lot of people just don't want to step up and speak about. First, anyone that is watching this as a live viewer or as a replay, I just have to attest to you what a true gentleman Frank Salas is. True gentleman. I mean, I have had the absolute pleasure, and I mean it, the absolute pleasure of being able to speak with Frank and, you know, just grow our working relationship within the last couple of weeks. And he is just the real deal, as genuine as it gets. So him asking and posing this question is truly coming from such a sincere and genuine place. So I just want to put that out there.
Thanks, girl.
I got your back. I got your back. So, you know, I think the thing with women, and again, this is just solely off of my opinion, is that women are still perceived as, you know, the ones that should be at home with the kids, taking care of it. And, you know, if they're trying to multitask and juggle a multitude of these things, a work-life balance, suddenly it's like, oh, you know, you're burning yourself too thin. And if you're focusing too much on the business, you know, you're not really doing a good job as a mom or as a wife or, you know, as a caregiver at the home. And then and so what happens is that society tells women that this is what you are, that you are backed into this corner. And then suddenly we're brainwashed thinking, okay, so this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be, you know, a caregiver. I'm supposed to only be in this bubble, right? So, you know, let's say if we were in a conference, in a co-ed conference filled with powerhouses in the business world. And you have to understand, before I started to work in business for myself, I was working on Wall Street for about 6 to 7 years, supporting a number of entrepreneurs, working in hedge funds, working in private equity. So I know, I was in the trenches. I absolutely know that I was filled with men. Okay, so say for instance, we go to a networking event. You go to a networking event, a conference, whatever that is, and there's a multitude of men, right? So there's only a limited amount of women. So then what starts to happen is there's this shift. There's a shift where women are like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to sit with the other women. And then they're afraid to network with the men. They're afraid to jump right in. Because I will tell you, and again, anyone, I know there's a lot of people in my mastermind here that are here live or that are going to catch the replay. You know, there's this thing where I'm going to be transparent, okay? A woman comes in and they're not going to be taken seriously because the first thing that's going to come into a man's mind is she single? What does she do? Can I hook up with her? Okay. And so I just want to get real with that. Let's just put it out there. And that sucks. And that's what prevents and that's what stops women from leaning in. And now they take a step back because they're saying, you know what, no matter what it is that I do, I'm never going to be taken seriously. And I'll tell you, I have been there. It sucks. It sucks when you cannot be taken seriously because they only see the face and they don't see the intelligence. They don't see the hard work. They don't see the determination, and they don't see what you can bring to the table. I got tagged in something earlier this week from Cherie and me, and it says, if someone asks what you can bring to the table, I'm going to bring the whole table. Okay. So, and it's true. But the thing is that men don't see that. They just see, oh, she looks good. You know, can I hook up with her? X, Y, Z. What else is there? And it doesn't get to a point until you reach a certain plateau in your business when you start to gain that respect. But I just want to say here, you know, say today that in order to do anything, in order to gain that respect, you know, first and foremost, first you have to master it before you can make it. So whatever it is that you want to hone in and whatever it is that you want to be a leading expert in, you need to master it before you can make it. And then all of the respect and all of those things really come to it. So no matter what, you just got to keep on pushing. So again, I think that there's, society really puts a limit towards women, and we need to have that gender balance parity like immediately, because for that gap to be bridged, it's really not going to hit until another 200 years from now, as sad as it seems, and so I decided to go into business for myself. And I know that I'm kind of going off on a tangent, Frank, so bear with me.
Perfect. Yeah, no, you're good.
Awesome. Thank you. So, I decided to go into business for myself, ultimately because I wanted to have this freedom lifestyle, right? So my sole purpose was, how do I create a lifestyle where I had enough income to travel the world and build orphanages where I want? Like, that's really what my ultimate goal is. Like, that is my why. That is my purpose. So I decided to go into business for myself. And, just even thinking about the charity aspect, you would think that women dominate in like creating and building charities, but till this day, there's still a lot of men that are creating these orphanages. And, again, as society, we're supposed to be, these caretakers and these givers. Like, that's what we're pushed towards. But still, even like in the charitable field, men are dominating that. And why? Is because women have so many blocks. They have so many things that are in their heads that they allow to manifest, versus what I'm going to tell you the difference between men and women. Women like to sit there and marinate, versus men, they get over things fucking fast, and they're like, okay, boom, I'm gonna go. So ladies, I just want to tell you this, like, don't feel so prideful that you can't learn stuff from men, because I'm telling you, a lot of the most useful and pivotal things that I have learned in my career was sitting in a boardroom and sitting as a student, because I'm always going to be a forever student in business, sitting in the boardroom and watching these men work, how they interact, how they converse, how they start their conversations, those things that trigger, learn from that. And whatever it is that you think that you can benefit from, use that to your advantage and apply it in your daily use. Don't be afraid to try and test out new things if you feel that it's going to help you in your self-growth. So I'm looking at the comments right now. That does suck. So true. I agree. Stop complaining and do it. Love it. Absolutely, Tamika. So that's to answer your question for that one, Frank.
No, that's great. You brought up so many valid points on there, and I really want to go even a next step into this, what you just said. There's a lot of self-limiting beliefs and just a lot of damage that women especially do to themselves, because they are comparing themselves to other women. They're comparing themselves to business owners, to men, and all of that. So and it happens to guys too. Like, it's not just a female thing, it's a human thing. Like, for a little while, when I made the jump from working with clients at a certain income to making the jump to making the clients at a certain income that is a lot higher, I had a mental barrier, because I thought, am I good enough to work with these clients? Am I good enough to work with these clients that are buying $1 million homes in Austin, Texas? Or should I just stick to selling, $200,000 houses or condos? And it was the same exact thing. It was the same exact transaction. I was still doing everything the same. It was just a different person. So I had a limiting belief in my end that I just had to get over with. But like you said, as a man, we just kind of go in and handle it. And women, they're just like, oh, they're at the diving board too long. They're just there. They're looking down at the water. They're looking to see who's looking at them. They're checking their bathing suit, and guys just jump in head first. So I would, it's great that you brought that point up. And I would just encourage any woman out there or men to just jump up and do it. It's going to be scary. It's going to be strange. But when you do it, it's awesome. The water's fine. It's so fun. You're going to meet people like Diane. So, just do it. What are your thoughts? And break that down a little bit further. How does somebody get past that limiting barrier in their mind?
I love that. Thank you. And again, guys, please just call me D, because we're all family and friends here. So I love that you asked that question, Frank, because that's one of the things that I really, really work through in my mastermind and with my one-on-one clients, and even just with people that I speak to on a daily basis. I ask them all the time, like, what do you think is limiting you what do you think is preventing you from getting to those next steps, right? So before you can do that, you guys have to have a really, really honest conversation with yourselves, and dig and do the heavy work and ask yourselves those questions that you don't want to ask yourselves. Because sometimes what happens is that there are things in our past that really repress us, you know, that we repress. Like there are memories in our past that we repress, and they're like, okay, we're just going to avoid it. We're just going to let it slip under the rug. No, what I want you to do is address it head on, because the faster that you can heal from it, the faster that you're going to see such a huge transformation in your life, and you're not holding on to that anymore. Because the longer that you hold on to it, what happens is it becomes an anchor. And when something is an anchor in your life, you cannot lift up to that next level. It's impossible because it's weighing you down so much. So whatever it is that you're struggling with, you know, whatever it is, you know, whether you had some debts in your family, you know, some failures, whatever. And let me just say, failure is inevitable. As an entrepreneur, you fail a lot more times than you succeed. And I know Frank is shaking his head yes, because it's true. You're going to, oh, hold on one second. Hey, Frank, can you take this? Because I have to grab the door.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah, no big.
Okay, go grab that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great. She's really, hey, look, Dee hasn't cleaned her room. She's got her beds all over the place. We won't hold it against her. She's a busy entrepreneur. But yeah, I fail every day. It's not even 9 o'clock here, American or Filipino time, and I've already failed 5 times today. I've literally just dropped the ball. So I fail on a constant basis. And for me, I don't fail, I learn. It's all a learning thing. And when I have a mastermind or when I have a peer group that is able to help me further learn on my experiences, not my failures, on my experiences, that's when I'm able to come back stronger. What'd you get delivered?
No, pizza. And yeah.
Nice.
Not pizza.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was just talking about failing and getting peer-to-peer coaching. And I was also clowning you on your room a little bit.
I know. I heard you. I was off. That's okay. You know what? It's perfectly fine. I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, okay. So that's what you get from the mastermind. And we kind of learned a little bit about yours. But how does someone maybe start to be around the mastermind? How, for someone who's new to this whole world and connecting online and being around the right people and going down this journey, how does somebody get plugged into a mastermind? How does that process even work?
So that's a really great question. I'm so sorry about my dog in the background. So, you know, for me, the way that I had really started my mastermind, actually, before I go into how I started my mastermind, I'm going to tell you how I got involved in a mastermind. So when I was, working in the financial sector, oh, we lost Frank. Can you guys still hear me? Can you type in a 1 if you can hear me in the chat and if I'm still here? Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. So I'm just going to answer this for you. And I know that Frank is going to pop back on. The Wi-Fi in the Philippines is a bit choppy. So I got introduced, guys, to a mastermind while I was working in finance. And essentially what happened is that when I was supporting these executives and these entrepreneurs, again, I'm so sorry for the background. When I was supporting these entrepreneurs, I really sucked in terms of really trying to juggle, like in the very beginning stages. I really sucked in terms of trying to figure out how do I help these executives stay productive and stay not just productive but also effective. Oreo. Sorry about that. So essentially what happened is that one of the partners of the firm ended up, oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. The partners of the firm had invested in me getting a life coach. So that's how, by being part of that life coach, I was then welcomed into a mastermind. So what happened was that I was around a lot of like-minded individuals, other executive assistants that were supporting these high-profiled people. And then I started to really learn, like, okay, I'm not the only person that's struggling with trying to be productive, with struggling to be effective. I'm not the only person that doesn't have, you know, set systems and processes in place. And again, this was very, very early in my career when I first, maybe a year right after I graduated college. So that's when I first got introduced to a mastermind. And keep in mind, back then, social media wasn't really at its pivotal point. So it was really exclusive. It was through invite only. And I absolutely love that. I love the exclusivity of just having an invite only. So now fast forward, and Frank is back. Awesome. So I'll just wait till Frank jumps back on. Again, thanks guys. Thank you again so much for bearing with us. Hello. Frank, are you with us? Ooh, I can't hear you. I can't hear, but oh, you're back. Awesome. So that's how I was able, I just went off a little bit, just going through my background. So again, at that point of my career, when I first got introduced to Mastermind, there wasn't any social media. Fast forward to when I first started my coaching business and my consulting business about 3 years ago, you know, Facebook was really, really picking up. And I'll tell you, Dolls Mastermind, the brand itself has only been in fruition for the last 3 months. And in the last 3 months, the way that I was able to build my mastermind was through Facebook groups, was through LinkedIn communities, and just being able to leverage all aspects of social media. And from there, that's when I was able to really connect with a lot of like-minded female emerging entrepreneurs that were also interested of really taking their business to that next level. So I was able to now take my expertise, the things that I've learned, you know, within my previous mastermind that I was a part of, again, invite only, very exclusive, and really be able to hone it and cultivate that into a program. So really when it comes down to, if you're looking for a mastermind, there's so much material out there, guys. Do your due diligence. See who the person is, that leader of that mastermind, and do your due diligence on that person. If there is a way that, and then when you do your due diligence on that person, look for testimonials, you know, look for all of the reviews, and don't stop digging, because it's important for you to be able to find, you know, the people that are going to take you to that next level. So yeah, social media is absolutely powerful. Facebook groups is powerful. Live streaming now is powerful. And just being able to really, really, really look into the people, and the person that is in charge of that specific mastermind, if they are in alignment with what your goals are. Are you here? Ooh, poor signal. Frank, I can't hear you. But anyway, so you know what I want to do while we wait for Frank? Does anyone here have any questions that they want to ask? And or can you guys type in one if you're part of a mastermind, or if you want to be part of a mastermind? I know that we have we have 8 people here, and so Frank, it says poor internet signal. Okay, so Frank went off air, and then he's probably going to jump back on. Again, bear with us. The service in the Philippines really isn't up to par. And he's calling in. So again, guys, if you have any questions, please go ahead and write the questions in.
Hello. Cool. Hey, so since live stream is all about value and getting those nuggets right away, you said something that really piqued my interest. I use LinkedIn, but nobody uses LinkedIn like they could. How do you use LinkedIn to help generate interest for your mastermind, generate business? Give us some nuggets right now. Drop.
Ooh, that's good, Frank. You know what? It's actually a lot more simple than people give it credit for. So really, I just go into the search bar, and then I just type in, like, you can do like search keyword and stuff, right? So I just go into the search bar and I just type in entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs, specifically in NYC or wherever it is that I really want to dominate. So I just, I look for, and then there's a multitude, endless lists of people, groups rather, that you can be a part of. And then I just subscribe to it. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Yeah. So, and then from there, what happens is that I start posting in a lot of threads. So when you post in a lot of threads or posts or, tweets or whatever that is, that's called visibility, right? Because now you're engaging and you're interacting, and almost similar when you think about Periscope, right, Frank? When you think about Periscope or Blab, you and I are the host. We're conversing with one another, but there might be someone in the audience that is typing in really good value or asking really great questions. And that's like visibility in terms of saying, oh, this person is actually giving a lot of great insight, and that's what's going to be able to separate them. So that's essentially what I do for, YouTube, for Facebook comments, for Blab, for LinkedIn. I just provide value and value and value in threads. And then what starts to happen, people start adding me on LinkedIn, and then they're like, oh, what do you do? What are you about? And let me learn more about you. Because the thing is, for me, I position my day every single day. When is the next purposeful conversation I'm going to have? Not when's the next sales call I'm going to have, because I'm always selling, right? You're always going to be closing. But when is the next purposeful conversation that I'm going to have? And by having that mentality, it allows me to try to connect and converse and network with as many people as possible. And from speaking to them, especially people within your network and with people that that are like-minded, I mean, you're going to be invited to like 1 million masterminds all the time. I mean, this week alone, I was invited to like 7 different masterminds, and I was just like, cool, I'll consider it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to keep or reiterate and really emphasize is the fact that you are giving value. You're not pitching. You're not asking for sales. Nope. You're not asking for business. You're on these LinkedIn groups, just giving value, giving. The more you give, the more that comes back. And every time I do anything, a Blab, a webinar in particular, I always want to make sure that people felt like they kind of guilty because they got it for free, because it was just so good. That's my goal in everything that I do on all social media. And that's really great. I like how you said that. I want to give some of my LinkedIn nuggets a little bit.
Yes.
So I love to connect, and I'm a great networker on LinkedIn. And here's how I do that. So right now I'm looking for, hey, Allie, welcome to the Blab. You're with the talented Mr.
She's part of my Mastermind.
What up? And D, of course. So we're going over LinkedIn tips right now and how to expand your network so you can mastermind. And what I do is, for example, right now, I'm looking for companies who do app development in San Francisco and in Austin, Texas. And I don't have that network of mine established just yet. But instead of going out to San Francisco or wait until I go back home to Austin, Texas to do that, I'm just going on LinkedIn, typing app development, San Francisco, Austin, Texas, and I'm just reaching out to them. And a lot of these people, I'm having 2nd and 3rd degree connections. And what I do is I go to those people that I have a 2nd or 3rd degree connection with, and I say, hey, I really want to meet your friend at Apps Are Us in Austin, Texas. Do you mind if I name drop you and get that and use that as an intro? All the time, they're like, oh, please do. Yeah, tell them I said hi. And so I send them a message, and it's for free. No cost, nothing like that. I just send them a message, and I say, hey, I was referred to you by your really good friend so-and-so at this company. I told him that I was looking, we've had a relationship, for however many months, years, and they speak very highly of you. I'd love to be connected with you. And 100% of the time, it's never not worked. They always accept your requests. They always send you a message. They'll message you and say, oh, how do you know this person? How can I help? And that's when you know you're working with a good networker. When someone always asks you, how can I be of value to you? How can I network with you? Every time I meet somebody who is established already, they constantly want to give me value. And every time I meet someone that is not yet in the right mindset, they are always trying to take value. And that's the noticeable difference that I've experienced in my short journey. I've only been a virtual assistant, subject matter expert on social media for less than 6 months. And it's taken me a very, very long way because we're using stuff like this on early adopters. What do you think?
But that's incredible. I love that. Like, it's one of those things, Frank, that after this Blab, I'm immediately going to watch the replay and just be like, okay, let me list down all the things that Frank said, and how do I repurpose this? No, really, how do I repurpose this into a tweet, into an Instagram post? And it's amazing. And so what you and I are doing right now, Frank, that's one thing that I want to highlight is collaboration, especially in masterminding, right? So collaboration is just the name of the game. So you may find someone within the group or someone within the network that is a perfect fit to work with you on a potential project. So, if you're that perfect person for that other individual, you're helping that member, and the group works collectively together to achieve more together. And the one thing that I really love saying to people is that you can get to your end result faster if you do it alone, but you can get a lot further with a team, with a mastermind, when you leverage your network. And I know that you and I talk about this all the time, Frank. So it's important to just collaborate with people that you know can take you to that next level. And if you can find people within your mastermind because they're already on that next level, I mean, just imagine the leaps and bounds that you'll go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, okay, let's say, I've got my own mastermind. It's Automate 2016 on Facebook. If you want to figure out how to automate your business or leverage virtual assistants. And I'm kind of working with that. And how I grow that is I just show things just randomly throughout my day that virtual assistants help for me. Like, for example, as we're doing this blab right now, I have a virtual assistant making a proposal for 5 figures with somebody that I just met before this blab. And, I'm not handling on that. And that's something really simple, but I'll post that on my mastermind and say, look, this is what I'm doing to maximize my time. This is just an example of how to do that. So and I also comment with people. I also try to give tips, helpful articles, and things like that. How does somebody give value to their mastermind? So let's say you've gone out, you've done the work, you've already got the mastermind in there. It's popping, it's rocking. You have weekly mastermind calls like my girl Dee does. How do you make that valuable to the people that are in those?
Oh, I love asking that. So for me, Frank, and again, I love all of these questions that you're asking. For me, I have to stay in an inspired space. When I say in an inspired place all the time, it allows a lot more room for creation. And I really listen to what the dolls in my mastermind are saying and what they're not saying. And when you really listen in and then you make your product, your service, your exercise, whatever that is, when you make it about wholeheartedly serving the doll, your mastermind and not making it about you, something beautiful transcends from that, right? Because one thing this week, and I'll share with you an exclusive. Ready? So one thing this week, I knew that within my Facebook group, I knew that a lot of people were struggling in terms of making the type of income that they wanted, right? They're struggling to making that type of income. And it's not because they're not good at sales. Maybe that is, right? But it's because there were these other blocks. There were these other fears. So for my mastermind this week, what I urged my dolls to do was list down, 3 things that they genuinely feel is preventing them from moving forward. So what I do is that I do a lot of mindset challenges. And because I pay attention to what my mastermind is saying and what they're not saying, it allows me to create challenges. It allows me to create exercises, and it allows me to reflect and say, okay, well, what blocks did I have before I was an entrepreneur? What blocks did I have that prevented me from, really taking my business to the next level? And how do I scale that? So by being super, super, super intuitive and conscious about thinking about other people and not of yourself, it makes it easy in terms of how you help other people. So again, it's always going to be about them. It's never going to be about you. And by me staying in inspired spaces and having those purposeful conversation, it just allows the creativity flow, and it allows me to structure strategies and systems that I know is going to be advantageous and really effective for my mastermind.
That's fabulous. One pickup that I got just right now, what value that I got was that you need to be connected with your mastermind group, because those are more than just your clients. Those are people that are also you're gonna benefit from them. Can you tell us some examples of things that you've picked up from your mastermind, from other people in your mastermind?
Man. You know what? I love it because my mastermind consists of, all of my mastermind groups, they consist of women from all walks of life, single moms, married moms that are maybe late into their 40s and 50s that are just trying to find their way to reinvent themselves. So the one thing, I'm always inspired. I am always inspired. And the one thing with every single person is that each person has a different life experience, right? So when I take an opportunity and I give people the platform to share their story and to share their why, why are you in business for yourself? Why are you doing this? Why are you passionate about this specific thing? It really allows me to get to know them more. And then by getting to know them more, I can really see like what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what are things that they need to work on. And, you know, what are things that we as a mastermind can collectively and cohesively work on together to improve? Because it's all about empowerment, right? Like there are times where you just feel like crap. And sometimes, you know, as much as you love your friends and family, they're just really not going to understand the struggle of an entrepreneur. They just can't. So having a mastermind really understand like all of the sacrifices that needs to be made, you know, all of the things that we have to put up with just so that we can get to that end result. Like no one's going to understand that unless it's the people within your circle that's doing that dirty work with you.
Right.
Right. To at that grassroots level. So the one thing that I really learned is that people that are so passionate and people that are so empowered, they make no excuses. They're just going to show up. They're going to do whatever it is, whatever it takes to get to that end result. Because I'm telling you, the second that you start to see your business and your life differently, you start to show up differently. And all of these women in my mastermind, week after week, month after month, are showing up differently. They are not the same person. They are not the same person when they first started my mastermind, and they're a totally different person when they come out of my mastermind. And that's essentially what I want.
So D, you're the kind of person I can tell just from our, you know, we've known each other really for less than a month. We've seen each other around, but we've really connected over the last less than a month, actually. So you seem like a person that always makes it better. So this is where your mastermind is at right now. Where is the future of your mastermind going? How is that going to progress and evolve?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I wasn't going to drop any announcements until my blab tomorrow, but because Frank asked me, I'm going to give you some exclusive that it's just going to like, I really haven't shared with anyone except the person within my mastermind that I'm collaborating with. So I'm really going to give you like the inside scoop right now. So the next point of my career that I'm moving forward in my business rather, you know, I've been doing a lot of my masterminds and online. Everything 100% has been online, Google Hangouts, Skype, you know, go to meetings, go to webinars. So my next approach is now having these in-person high-end conferences that's going to be based out of New York City. And essentially the concept of it is it's a two-day conference. Plus at the end, the third day is a wrap-up party. And New York City, especially me, I know how to party because I celebrate every milestone. I need to celebrate every single milestone because that's what keeps you going, right? So essentially the concept of this conference is bust your blocks. And the blocks we just talked about earlier, Frank, you know, like the fear of failure, you know, the fear of like being a woman in like the boardroom filled with men, like busting down your blocks so that you can burst in your business. So it's a two-front module. The first module is busting through your blocks, and the second part module is bursting through your business. So you're going to come into this mastermind, this conference. You're going to tell us your why. You're going to tell us your what, like what are the strategies that you're doing towards your what, towards your why rather. And now I'm going to show you how to take it a step further. So I'm doing that in conferences. In addition to that, my next, and I'm taking this conference worldwide. So after we have it in New York City, we're going to be in Bali, we're going to be in Thailand, we're going to be in Philippines, we're going to be in Costa Rica, and that, woo, yeah, that's right, Frank. Frank, you know, and you can even have a guest appearance in one of these masterminds for like a few hours so that you can drop some golden nuggets and glitter on my mastermind when we're in the Philippines.
Hey, is it going to be like a male bashing thing? Is it going to be all girls just kind of hating men?
It's not gonna, no, okay, hold on. Now this is going to go, I know we're recording, but I'm going to take this on the record, okay? It is not male bashing. You're laughing because you knew I was going to take it at this direction. Okay, no, it is not male bashing. Look, men and women handle things differently. You know, men can sit there and just hang out with their guys, drink a couple beers, watch sports. I love that. And they can get over things very quickly. Versus women really need to be able to break it down. And the way that they break it down is verbally. So they have to sit with, you know, one or two or a group of their girlfriends and let it air out. And then after that, they're able to say, okay, so obviously this is a crazy situation, so how do I move forward? So that's what happens. So it's not male bashing, but it's more like venting and verbalizing so that we can move forward. Someone is calling in.
Yeah, let's get them in.
Awesome.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Yo, AKAD Media Group, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, nothing much. It's pronounced Akkad, by the way. So
Akkad. Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you for being
yeah, I
here.
just came in. I like the topic. Entrepreneur. I think I'm an entrepreneur. I own this company, Akkad Media Group. We do online marketing, and we specialize in Google AdWords, or pay-per-click, as it's known in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking to actually set up a new business as a clothing line. So I'm looking for actually marketing ideas. You know, I don't know, maybe you guys or people in the room can chip in, see what we can.
Definitely. So what kind of clothing line are you going to link up? And Akkad, we can actually see your shirt, but we can't see your face. Like the camera's so low.
That's on purpose. It's a bit late here, and I haven't had a shave, so.
Oh, it's good, man. It's cool. I feel you. I had to shave right before this thing. As Diane, I showed her my stubble. So cool. What kind of clothing specifically are you selling, and who's gonna buy it?
It's mainly for women. It's very. I want it to be very high end. It's an idea. It's the name. I don't want to say it now because we haven't patented or anything, trademarked the name. But I've shown it around, to mainly women, and they like the idea and stuff. So but it's just sorry.
You've tested it, like it's something.
Everyone who's seen it has seen it. It's all right. But we know with business, I've run business in the past, and even you might have the greatest idea, but if you don't execute it right, that's where you might fail or might not succeed.
So do you have dresses, skirts, blouses?
No,
what do you sell?
It's just like top. It's simple. It's a top, but the name of the brand is a very catchy name, and I want it to
nice.
Essentially that's the only product that we have right now. We do have like snapbacks or like hats and stuff like that, but it's mainly the brand and how we can change it to different cities, and how we already have the Instagram, but I'm trying to see how I can market it online using influencers and people like that. But
gotcha.
It's a new industry for me, so it's going to be a difficult challenge to figure everything out and how we can brand it and get.
It's Akkad, right? Am I pronouncing that properly?
Akkad or Akkad.
Akkad. So I have clients that are in the same situations, like I want to start this really great big fashion line. I want to start this jewelry line, the shoe line, whatever that is. So I actually have 3 clients right now. And I'm going to be completely transparent because that's just how I go about my business. The fashion industry is the single-handedly most competitive industry out of all the industries because everyone is trying to dominate that market. So I want you, I'm just saying this because there's a lot of challenges that you are going to face that is going to be a lot different from, someone that's selling something within a little bit more of a niche. But I don't want to discourage you, but now what you just have to do is really be aggressive and be consistent in your approach. So my first question to you is, have you ever done any social media marketing online, or is that space completely new to you?
No. I mean, that's how I started out. I mean, we do, we're an agency anyway, so we do social media marketing for our clients as well. So, but I'm always open to other ideas, and collaborating with other entrepreneurs or people in that field. I'm thinking of going on Instagram and using, influencers and just giving the tops to influential people, even famous people. But my partner tells me, we need to get it in the hand of David Beckham or Victoria Beckham or people like that. We're in the UK, by the way. And that's another thing. Like, do we go global or do we go local? That's another thing that we're kind of also discussing. And right now it's just an idea. We have the kind of how we want the tops to look, and the what do you call the blueprints, or, the design and stuff aspect. So I'm still considering. I haven't committed fully to the idea yet. Before I know you know, is this something going to be worth my while as I'm running this business and I'm also investing in other things and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
So I really think that the first step that you should take here, Kat, is really testing out your market, you know, maybe within your core network, whether it's thank you, Yasmin, for joining, you know, really testing out your market within your core network. Like once you have it more established and you've really strategically planned and mind mapped, like what is it going to look like? Who is my target audience? What is the type of feel and message that I want to deliver with this brand? Once you have that clarity, because clarity is so important, because I say this all the time, clarity is what's going to equal the cash. So once you have that clarity, it'll be easy for you to be able to test the market. And then, you know, once you get that feedback, whether it's from, you know, people that you trust within your circle or within your network, then you can take that step further and back it with your resources. Because the worst thing that you want to do is jump into anything full on and invest thousands and thousands of dollars only for you to test it out and it's going to flop. So you want to do it in reverse, right? Just be able to test your market first instantaneously and see how people respond to it. And then from there, you know, then start to develop and create and craft. And the one thing that you said is really reaching out to influencers within the social media space. So if you want to reach out to like the David Beckhams and the Kim Kardashians, you know, the one vital thing is relationship building. Relationship building is key, because these high profile celebrities, there's always going to be people knocking at their door trying to get them to brand or to promote something. So it's going to be really difficult as a startup company that no one knows, right, to really get their attention. So you have to figure out a way that's going to totally separate you from any other brand out there. Because again, I have 3 fashion clients myself, and I know the struggles that they're going through. So again, I just want to say this to you from a really genuine and transparent place, that it's competitive as fuck. So you need to be able to test the market, get clarity, and then build those relationships. Try to connect with as many people as much as possible.
Right. So tell me a bit about you. I mean, what you say you have clients. What is your background and what is it you do?
Okay, exactly? Awesome. So, you know, I know that you just jumped in a little bit later onto our blab, but so my name is Diana May Fernandez, and everyone can call me D. And essentially what Adele's Mastermind is that I run an entrepreneurial group for emerging entrepreneurs. And I basically help them in terms of, you know, getting out of their 9-to-5 or really transitioning them into building their own empires. So essentially helping people turn their passions into profit. And my target audience are emerging female entrepreneurs. So I coach people on a one-on-one basis. In addition to that, I run weekly and monthly mastermind groups. So, you know, it's really great. And essentially this is like the topic that we were talking about is just entrepreneurship mastermind. And it's so vital for me to really just convey the message that you need to be able to extend your network, right? You know, joining a mastermind extends your network exponentially and rapidly. So if you can be in a position where you're invited to join an exclusive mastermind, you know, and if you're in business for yourself, you know, Akkad, how important networking is. So by joining a mastermind, you instantly add to your network, and you typically gain the networks of those within your group. So it's not just like, you know, for me, I run exclusive groups for up to 10 women because I want to keep it as intimate as possible. So it's not just the 10 people that I'm networking with, but it's those 10 people's network that I'm networking with. So essentially those 10 people have introduced me to about maybe, I don't know, 500, 1,000 people.
Right.
Just because now they're within my reach.
Yeah, like using your power base. Yeah, exactly. I read a lot about that and stuff. So, do you give them strategy? I mean, is your specialty social media? I'm guessing, or is it?
Yeah.
Just
so
how to be an entrepreneur in general, or?
Yeah, so essentially, you know, because I help women in terms of growing their online business, but it's not to say that I don't use a lot of real life day-to-day strategies to help them move forward. So yes, a big part of it is just getting visible online and helping them. And I know this is really important to you because you want to dominate in the social media world. And that's really important. So I help people in terms of, hey, this is the best way to strategize. This is the way that you reach your target audience. Hey, Frank, this is the way that you reach your target audience. This is the way that you're going to have that engagement. And this is the way that you stay visible. And you really stay visible just from consistency and just having that constant interaction and engagement with your target audience. And then not just sort of leaving them, you know, in the back burner. You post up one thing and then you just kind of forget about it. Like, it has to be this consistent engagement if you want a loyal following.
Yeah, Akkad, I just kind of caught the end of that, and I wasn't able to really catch Dee's advice, but she's got solid advice. I'm more on the sales and marketing side. I like to convert. I love converting, and I don't know if she said this, so please stop me if she already did. So to answer your specific question on your clothing line, I actually have a client that I'm working with right now on her social media, on her. She does leather bracelets. They're handmade. They have perceived value because they have little extra trinkets on it, like a bunny, a wolf, a lion, numerals, little things that have more perceived value. And so it looks like a luxury sign. And she wants to market towards the luxury market as well. So what we've done is we've set up a very aggressive Facebook ads campaign on women age 25 to 40. Now, this is her demographic. Your demographic is going to be different, but it might be very similar. Women age 25 to 40 who like Cosmo magazine, who like Tiffany's, and who also have some type of interest in fashion. And it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of the focus that we have. And what we're doing is we're just doing a digital catalog on Facebook ads showing these 3 hot new items. And then we would just say, which do you prefer? 1, 2, or 3. Click on this to whatever. And then that's driving the click through. And now they're going to the actual page, and now they're on your website. They're thinking about which one of these do I want to buy, not do I want to buy this. And that's really helped us out. And we've got that through a lot of split testing where we try different ads out. And a lot of people just straight up, Facebook is very expensive. It's the most expensive way to advertise on social media. But that being said, it's cheap. It's not going to cost you several grand for a commercial. It's not going to ask you to buy 10 grand a month for a billboard. It's going to ask you to spend a few dollars a day. I mean, you can do that. And you can maximize that by doing certain strategies, by working with a professional Facebook ads manager who can actually set a realistic budget of anywhere from $5 to $20 a day. If you're serious about your business, though, I would spend way more, but I would use this strategy. Facebook loves to charge you for keywords, and you can play Facebook at its own game. And what you can do is you can have very, very obscure keywords that these people who are women 25 to 40, who like Tiffany's, who like Cosmo, who are health conscious, who are into fashion, you can find little obscure keywords that it's like professional t-shirt folding, little green army men, Monopoly, little things. And these change daily. But instead of having those interests be, a few pennies or a few dollars per click, they'll actually be fractions of a penny. So I'm talking 0.00175 of a penny. And now if you have a budget of $5 a day, now you're getting 40,000 impressions, 15,000 clicks, and you're going to play that for a little bit. But because Facebook is monitors their keywords, that's only going to be good for like a week max. And Facebook's going to see, oh, we just had 50,000 clicks on Monopoly in this demographic. Instead of being a fraction of a penny, now it's 3 cents per click. And now you're getting 300 impressions, 150 clicks, and you're severely dropping down. And you constantly have to be floating your ads on different keywords. And that's where having somebody dedicated on Facebook ads would really serve you and your business. And that's a way for you to drive traffic. So that's one of the keys that I love to build brand new brands on Facebook. Build brand new brands.
Tongue twisting.
It's tongue twisting. So that's a strategy that I like. And I would really suggest Facebook for you. Now, if you want to go talk exposure, you can go over on Twitter and you can pay for $20 a day there, and you're going to get close to 100,000 impressions. But Twitter isn't about converting. Twitter's more about exposure. And if you market to the right people and they see you on Twitter, and then they see you on Facebook. And by the way, Facebook now goes to Instagram if you have your Instagram connected to your Facebook. Just a quick tip on there, but you have to connect them first.
Right.
And so that's good. Those two things are really going to give you a brand perceived dominance. Because if your brand is on Facebook, oh, it's official. Yeah, no way. Yeah, I dig it. But and I want to leave you with this. Now, going to Instagram, I would view Instagram as your digital catalog. Tiffany's, Macy's, these guys are removing their catalogs. They're no longer emailing these things out. They're no longer mailing these things out. They're putting it on their Instagram pages, and they're doing social media influencers marketing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Now, celebrities is cool, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And people aren't really going to trust a celebrity. But a nugget here. So you want to go to a website called BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo. You want to go down to the very bottom of that, and you want to go to the influencers tab. And so there's a click where you click on influencers, and then you want to go to amplification. So once you click on amplification, then just type in women's fashion, women's jewelry, women's top, whatever you're looking for. Who are the influencing those? And then now it's going to tell you all of the influencers of people that are in women's fashion or whatever keyword you designate. And it'll tell you the retweet ratios. How many times are these people retweeting their content? How much engagement are they having? This is all 100% free. And as a business owner, this is going to be your most powerful salesperson. What I would do is I would contact them and say, hey, would you like a free purse or a free shirt? Yep. Just go ahead and review this, or just post this up on your Instagram, or throw them $50. Throw them $100. It's way cheaper than finding a celebrity. And that's going to get you actual influence from the people who are early adopters like we all are using platforms like this. So I hope that was helpful to you. And if you want to know more, I'm at Talented Mr. Salas. You can also find at A Dolls Mastermind or Dolls Mastermind for more information. But I hope that was helpful to your question.
Yeah. Me. Jeez. Amazing, Frank.
That was great, man.
And especially
this website.
Yeah. So the one thing that I want to say with Frank, one thing that we were touching on, guys, is that, whether you're starting a business for yourself or, whether you've already got the ground running, the biggest takeaway from all of this is that you want to give value, and then take business. Because no one is going to want to do business with you unless they actually know that you can deliver. And then when you deliver, you want to over deliver. Because what Frank did right now, the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that Frank just shared with everyone here for the live viewers and the replayers, he should be wrapping that up into a course and selling that at a couple grand, right? But he provided such a numerous amount of value. And that is why people gravitate. And that is why people want to work with Talented Mr. Salas. And that's why people want to work with, all of these entrepreneurs that are constantly giving these, golden flakes of dust of content. And that's what's really going to separate you.
I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of this as a strategy? And is this something that I've noticed on Instagram specifically, where you have, I don't know about you, but I follow like these quotes, these motivational quotes, or it could be just a page that has lots of nice cars or beautiful buildings. These photographers, and they usually like monetize that. Like they have like for example, I think one page I'm following has like 1.6 million followers, and every now and then they have a product placement. So that's something I've thought about. Hey, should I use that as a strategy? I don't know if you guys have used that as a strategy where you can just make a very cool page where you essentially, because I want followers for my for example, for this clothing line. Mm-hmm. So I would create like a thinking about creating a quotes page, or just a page that's going to be very popular. It's got nothing to do with my clothing line, and then later slowly implement or start to feed it some of the the branding aspect of my what I'm trying to sell, because in the beginning like you said influencers, and if we can't get celebs, which because they're very hard to access, get the YouTube celeb, the guys with the the prank channels or whoever is relevant or in the fashion industry, But if, you know, because perception, for me, perception is everything. You know, when I go on a page, you know, I'm always looking, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure everyone is looking at how many followers they like or how many likes they have on Facebook.
Sure.
You know, so that's why I haven't still launched, you know, my company yet, or our official pages or Instagrams and Facebook, because I want the numbers to be high when someone goes there, like they already see 30,000 followers or 100,000 followers, you know.
Can I touch upon?
I don't want.
Wait, let me touch upon that, because I have to be really sensitive towards this, because I work with emerging entrepreneurs, and as I work with emerging entrepreneurs, no one's going to have those thousands of people, right? It's just impossible to have it at the grassroots stages. But what I want you to realize is that at the end of the day, it's not going to be about the quantity, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have over hundreds and thousands of followers, but they're not doing anything to capitalize or monetize, right? But I know people that may have less than 100 followers on their page, and they are making a lot of passive income. And so I want you, because the thing is, it's like we're always constantly keeping up with the Joneses, like, oh, if that person has more, then obviously they're more you know, they're more qualified and suited to my needs. So I just want to be really careful with that, because not to focus everything solely on quantity, but really for the quality. And if you believe, Akkad, that you have quality work, then what you need to do is start putting that quality work out there. Don't wait until you hit 100,000 followers or 100,000 likes for you to start putting your material out there. You want to put the good stuff out there right now, so that when people get to you, whenever they reach those pages, they're like, oh, wow, look at all this great premium content. And then what happens, it triggers them to follow. The psychology triggers them to share it. And then that's going to drive more people, drive more audience to you. So don't be so fixated on the whole branding thing, because I know everyone thinks about branding, that you take away from the building. Because the thing is, you know, 80% of people, they want to focus on the branding. They only want to do 20% of the building, when again, it has to be reversed. You have to focus on the building aspect, and not so much of the branding. So don't be afraid to put a lot of your valuable stuff out there up front. Don't be afraid to put, you know, the like sneak peeks or behind the scenes of what it is that you're doing, so that you have people that are fully engaged. Because if you wait for your numbers to go up, the enthusiasm of your crowd really, really diminishes.
Right. It's the way I see it is, and you know, I agree to some extent to what you said, but I'm trying to create a buzz. You know, like I said, I'm trying to create a high-end fashion brand. So if someone's going to go to my page and they see 100 followers, they can be like, oh, why? Because I'm charging such a high end price as well for these. You know.
You know what you do
for this product
in regards to that, and this is the same concept that I use for like new bloggers or like new emerging coaches. What you want to do is, and this is something that Frank touched upon, is you want to be able to leverage the people that have those high, you know, that high audience. So you want to be able to like have those guest bloggers talk about your product, you know, have these major influencers, not necessarily celebrities, but people that have a larger following. You want to be able to maybe like be a guest blogger, or, you know, you want to be able to collaborate with them so that you can be able to take their audience and drive them back to you. So you want to constantly deliver for those people that you're collaborating with, so that when they come back onto your site, they're like, okay, this person is the real deal. And I know this is something that Frank and I were just talking about, you know, at the beginning of the show.
Akkad, so first off, I have less than 20,000 followers across all social media. And, you know, numbers is just a vanity thing. Like, yes, there is some social proof associated with that. But if you have more than like 1,000 followers, it's really hard to be connected with those followers, just for the record. But you're right. In branding, people really perceive that to be, you know, an indication. But that being said, you're on social media where you could quickly establish yourself as a subject matter expert, as a authority figure on this, or as the new emerging and leading brand. And what I would really, before I give you this advice, serious question, do you have a substantial budget for marketing, or are you trying to bootstrap this?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I do have the resources, obviously, but you know, like I said, I do have Academy, the group to run. Of course, I will have the budget to invest in my marketing. Definitely, of course.
Okay, perfect.
But right now, it's not a money issue. It's creating, like, for example, I'm creating a brand where I'm going to be charging the same as a Gucci top, you know, or, you know, compete with these fashion houses very established. And I'm focusing on social media because that's my background. You know, that's what I know. I know online. You know, I'm a pay-per-click expert. You know, so right now we just putting ideas together, and you know, and I'm talking to other experts such as yourself on Blab or whatever, people in the industry that I know, and say, hey, what's the best way we can do this? And if I can do it, you know, maybe others can use it as a model to, you know, create a brand. Because that's a question about perception for me. Is okay, I can give this top to, let's say, Kim Kardashian or someone less influential, but influential on the internet, let's say, and then they go to the Instagram page and they see a couple of followers and they say, oh, why am I paying $500 for this top? You know, that's the perception I'm trying to, you know, create, you know, almost from nothing. It's, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm not Versace, I'm not Armani. I know that. Okay. But I'm trying to create a brand that is going to be competing with those guys. Yeah. If I was creating a t-shirt that's going to sell for $20, maybe that would work, but I'm trying to create something that's very high end, and I'm charging, you know, also charging high end prices for it. So that's where the dilemma is right now for me. You know, trying to figure that out, and how do I reverse engineer the whole process? You know, how do I become that fashion brand without?
Right.
You know, we can put money, but money. I don't think money's just gonna fix that problem.
It's not, but you need some.
How do we?
So it's not, you need some execution. Here's going to be some rapid fire value because I have to go. And I also know Diane has some great stuff for you. Yeah. So rapid fire, real quick. What I would do is I would go to look for all these fashion conferences that are going out, and every conference has a hashtag. For example, back in my hometown in Austin, Texas right now, the hashtag is hashtag SXSW, South by Southwest, or SXSW 2016. So what I would do is I would look for that equivalent of different fashion shows or conferences all around the world and go to and just do a marketing campaign to target those keywords, number one, across all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but specifically Instagram and Twitter, because that's where you're going to find the more hashtag integration than a Facebook. And as far as that, what I would do is I would have a paid ad towards that hashtag, but I would look at the major contributors of those hashtags and people who are taking selfies with everybody else, with distributors, with designers, with influencers, with reporters. I would find those people, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to be very labor intensive. And you don't know this about me, but I do virtual assistants, and I outsource all of my repetitive tasks to those people. So I would have a virtual assistant look up and do research on these people. I would find them on LinkedIn. I would find them on Facebook. I would find them on Instagram and Twitter. I would share all of their stuff. I would literally go down their page 100 times and share and retweet and heart 100 of their last tweets. So there's no way in hell they wouldn't know that I'm trying to reach out to them. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, I would also reach out to them and say, hey, you know, here's this, and give them some stuff just to create some buzz. No sell, just say, hey, I saw you're really connected in the fashion line. Here's a coupon on my store, or let me send you this, let me send you that. And that's going to be a way for you to organically and a little bit of paid advertising get on that. But really where I find the most value that you're going to get from this conversation is I'm hearing in your mind you have a limiting belief that if someone buys something from you because it's expensive and you don't have X amount of followers, it's not worth anything. And people right now who have money, they don't have the time to look up your brand, go to your website, go to your Facebook, go to your Instagram, and follower check you. They don't care. They just want to know, do I like it? Does it look fancy? And who else is doing that? So I'm gonna leave you with this so Diane can break you off some knowledge. What I would do is I would have a media platform where I would have, and this is again me using outsourcing and virtual assistants, I would have my virtual assistants cold call the hell out of every news station, local radio station, magazine, blog that has to do with fashion and say, can I get you to review this? Now you're going to contact 1,000 people and 30 people are going to say yes. But when those 30 people say yes, Now you get to take their organization, and ideally they're a bigger platform, and you can put as seen on NBC, as seen on Bloomberg, as seen on Cosmo magazine online. And that's where you're going to get the credibility. And that's going to be worth way more than followers. So I'm going to mute myself so Diane can give you some knowledge.
That was
thank you very much, Frank.
Frank is incredible. And yeah, Akkad, you should really connect with Frank in terms of being able to outsource, because you as a CEO, you should not be working on those things, you know, in terms of being productive, because as a CEO, you should be focusing on being effective. So the productivity stuff, that goes for virtual assistants, and Frank is the man, and he is just totally dominating in that industry. But, you know, in terms to really add on to what Frank is saying, what he really just magnified a portion of online marketing, and he barely scratched the surface. So there's a lot more of it where it came from. But essentially what you really want to do for the online space is focus on your back end. And by the back end, I mean focusing on your sales funnel. So your sales funnel meaning, like, how do I want to market myself? Do I want to market myself through Facebook? And I know this is, again, I'm just piggybacking off of what Frank said, but it's like Facebook ads, you know, Twitter ads, and then what is the reaction that I want from them? Because by the time that people already get to your site, you know, they're already a hot lead, because they've already gone through, they've already looked at your ad, they've already looked at your promo, and they already made those clicks. So those people that have already clicked, you have to be able to convert them very, very quickly, because people, you know, something is going to go through their head, and then 2 seconds later, they're going to forget about it. So essentially, when they're clicking through their ads, they don't really give a shit whether you have 10 or 10,000 followers. They just really care about, do I like the product or not? And the reason why I just keep repeating this is because, you know, just piggybacking off of Frank, because it's true. And so I hope that you would consider softening your stance in terms of how you want to go about and approach things, because, you know, Frank and I have had proven success on the online space. We have proven success of being able to engage and build businesses solely from networking online and building relationships. And if there's one thing that I really just want to leave you with, the most important thing about business, it's really about the relationship building. So the more people that you connect with, the more people that you speak to on a daily basis, and just having those conversations, and not those conversations where, you know, it's just a cold pitch right away, because people could see through that. No one wants to work with anyone like that. But having those purposeful conversations and finding like that middle ground where you can connect on, that's going to be able to expand your network. That's going to be able to bring people within your own personal mastermind. And again, like I was saying earlier, it's when you have a network of people, let's say if you have 10 people within your mastermind, it's not like just those 10 people that you're going to be connecting with. Now it's those 10 people, their network. So it's going to be anywhere from like 500 to 10,000 people that you're connecting with solely from there. So understand that the underlying thing of all of this is relationship building. Don't just think that you put up a Facebook ad and a Twitter ad and then suddenly, boom, you're an overnight success, because it doesn't happen like that. So speak to people about, you know, your fashion, and just ask them, you know, what are things that you're interested in, and just be able to trigger conversations that you know is going to push your projects forward. And that's all that I really want to share.
Oh, well, great. Thank you too very much for the advice.
Of course. So Akkad, both Frank and I have to dip, because we got to be smiling and dialing all day long. But I want you, Akkad, to reach out to Frank Salas. He's a talented Mr. Salas one all over social media. You know, you can find him on Facebook, and Frank is really responsive. He'll get back to you, and he's just an all-around great guy. So he has absolutely my highest referral. So please, like right now, what you're doing is you've already built a relationship with us. You've already built a rapport with us. So please feel free to reach out to us if you want, if you need more help, if you need more feedback, because we're going to be here. We're going to be here at your corner, you know, when you need us.
Oh, appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I just followed you both here. So
Awesome.
I presume in the same handles you use on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
does Blab,
Mhm.
if I follow someone here, does it follow on Twitter or no?
Yes.
No.
Automatically
Oh,
or
no,
no?
no, no. It's separate. So just, talented Mr.
Yeah.
Stylist One all over social media, Blab, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, and then same with Dolls Mastermind. So you can connect with us there.
We'll stay connected. I'll probably see you on another Blab as
Yes,
well.
you will. I hope so. I hope that you stay connected with us, because we just really want to see where you take your business and those next steps. A year from now, we can be saying, "Oh my gosh, remember that one time in Blab?" And then now you're like this whole big global fashion brand, and that's what we love. We love being able to help curate and cultivate other entrepreneurs and just be part of that process. So again, our time is up. But again, I just want to thank Frank so much for having me here. Thank you for the live viewers. Thank you for the replayers. We appreciate you. We value you guys so very much. Again, please follow my boy, talented Mr. Salas One, everywhere in social media. I'm Dolls Mastermind. You guys can call me D. That's our time. We love you, and we'll see you again at the next lab. Thank you, Frank. You're amazing.
Hey, thanks a lot. This was awesome, and we didn't even rehearse. We just kind of went with it, and that says a lot. That says a lot about our relationship. So this is cool. I'm excited.
This is cool. I am really pumped about it. I know. I loved how we were talking on Snapchat, and I'm like, sure, we'll rehearse, and then we just jumped on Blab. So just speak about the dynamics and our relationship, and I'm so grateful and humbled to be working and collaborating and just knowing someone like you, Frank. So for anyone that's watching this, you need to follow my boy, Frank. He's the real deal.
Yo, you got to follow my girl D at Dolls Mastermind. Honestly, like she's one of the top thought leaders in female online marketing, and the fact that she is on here really, and even me too, really speaks a lot to our early adopter status. Because to my boy Akkad, we don't really, I don't focus on Instagram. I don't focus on Facebook. I have a good following there, but I don't focus on that. I focus on Blab. I focus on Anchor, I focus on Periscope, and I focus on Snapchat and Meerkat. I only focus on the new stuff. Everything else has already been established. And for Akkad specifically, I would, those stuff, it works. But if you really want to establish yourself as a subject matter expert or a dominant thought leader or product, you got to go early adopter, because I've been doing this online for less than 6 months, and I'm already talking a 6-figure sponsorship deal with 5 different VA firms here in the Philippines. Amazing. And that's the power of social media. Yep. And Diane's been doing this for less than 6 months as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's incredible. It's incredible. Again, leverage your network. By leveraging your network, I mean, just amazing things happen.
All right, guys, that's our show today. I really appreciate it. D, thanks again, and I look forward to chatting with you. Bye.
Frank. Bye, guys.